Good evening, 7 o'clock. I'd like to call a meeting of the Inland Wetlands Commission to order. First item is approval of the minutes of the May 19, 2021 regular meeting. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes, and are there any corrections, additions, deletions?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Motion by Mr. Waite to approve. Is there a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Old business. 2021-34 lot residential subdivision on Peters Lane. Assessors map reference 5019, block 2, lot 19. Applicant James Barr. This is tabled. Can we have a motion to take it off the table? Motion McCann, second.
Second it.
Angela. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there a representative? State your name and address for the record for the secretary, please.
Certainly. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Superintendent Kerrigan. For the record, my name is Chris Smith. I am a land use attorney with the law firm of Alter and Pearson, and I appear before you this evening on behalf of the applicant. Can you hear me? No? Better?
Better.
Okay. And with me this evening is Dave Bjorklund of Spath Bjorklund, our engineer, as well as our wetland scientist, soil scientist, Eric Davison of Davison Environmental. It's my understanding you received this at the last meeting, and the purpose of this evening was to, if you'd like, we can give you a very brief overview, but I presume that you will then be making a determination as to whether or not you will be scheduling a public hearing, at which time we will do an in-depth presentation. So more than happy to provide an overview to you so you can make that determination, whether public interest or whatever, if you wanted to go to public hearing. And then if not, we'll go forward and this evening, if you'd like, and do a full in-depth presentation. So if that's my understanding as to how we might proceed, Mr. Chairman. Does that work?
Mr. McCann?
Yeah, and to save time and save them.
Well, I mean,
it appears that
we have to know what it's about before we can make a determination that it needs to go to a public hearing.
like a brief overview is
That's
fine.
all, brief, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have
Yeah.
to go through the whole thing. And
That's right. Okay. We all agree.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, thank you. And to address your concerns, if it were to go to public hearing, we didn't want to do too much here, because then we would do the full
Have to do it again.
the public hearing.
Yeah.
Well, and then nobody could say that, everybody would see everything the first time.
it's
at the
not that
public
we
hearing.
don't want to hear you. We're just trying to save you a little time and effort.
I appreciate
Because you
it.
will, if it goes to a public hearing, you will have to present that in front of an audience, so to speak.
Okay, no, I understood.
Okay.
And with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn over to Dave Bjorklund to provide you with an overview of this proposal, which involves a 4-lot subdivision on a little over, I think, 26 acres. So,
Fine.
with your permission, I'll turn it over to Dave Bjorklund. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Smith. My name's Dave Bjorklund. I'm president of the firm of Spath Bjorklund Associates. We have offices in Monroe, and I'm a professional engineer registered in the state of Connecticut. Just quickly to sum up what this application is about, this is a little less than 10 acres, and the proposal is to divide it into 4 lots in compliance with your existing zoning regulations. The lots will be served by on-site septic systems and on-site wells. The piece is bounded on the south by Peters Lane. To the north, the east, and the west is where the resources are located that this commission would be concerned with. The piece is basically surrounded by inland wetlands and water courses to the northeast and west of the parcel. There is a vernal pool that is just slightly off-site, but was within your 250-foot regulated area that is adjacent to the parcel. And there is a FEMA-identified floodplain along Cemetery Pond Brook on the east side of the property. So and basically the entire property, except for a very small sliver, if you look at the map, is within your 250-foot regulated upland area.
Any questions, comments?
Sorry. I just have a couple of questions based on what Ms. Kerrigan gave us in our packet. First question, it says here that the one-tier vernal pool has been identified within the wetland complex, but is not marked on the site plans. Why is that?
Prefer to answer that when we get to the public hearing.
Okay.
I think that's the kind of detail we'll get into with the hearing.
Okay. And also about the bedrock, are you going to do that at the public hearing as well?
Yes. I think the letter is self-explanatory, but we will summarize it at the hearing.
Okay. There's a note going back to our March 17th regular meeting. The commission requested additional information on the bedrock type at this site.
That's right, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, and we can present that at the public hearing, but we did generate that information, it's my understanding. I had the wrong acreage, sorry about that.
That information is in the application package.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, in light of, we'll get the information at the public hearing. I would like to make a motion that we find this a significant activity and send it for public hearing.
We have a motion?
Second.
Significant activity, and to send it to a public hearing.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Mm-hmm.
Any discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your time.
So we'll see you next month.
Thank you very much. When is the meeting next month?
It's the third Wednesday, 7 p.m., same place. Yep.
We'll see you next month. Thank you, stay safe, thank you.
One other question. We can do this on the phone, Kelly. What's the notification process?
We can talk offline.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Great. Thank you.
Right, all the abutters have to be notified.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And some things are a little COVID funky right now, so.
Okay, you're going to take care of that with them.
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
Okay. Next item on the agenda. 2021-8, construction and storage units, associated infrastructure, CMB Group LLC, Batco. This was tabled last month, so we're going to need a motion to take it off the table.
Make a motion to take it off the table?
Motion by Mr. Wade, second?
Second.
Angela? All in favor?
Aye.
Is the applicant or his representative here? State your name, please, and address for the record.
My name is Brian Phillips. I'm with Langen in New Haven, engineering firm. My understanding was that the application,
Wait,
Brian Phillips. My understanding was that the application would be accepted tonight.
Well,
There is
have we cleared up the items that you were concerned about?
Yeah, so we tabled this at our last meeting because there was some confusion as to what type of wetland was present on the site. And there's a potential to not accept tonight just because we didn't get the actual physical wetland report in time, but I did email it out to all the commission members.
and I have hard copies as well that I can hand out.
And that was, I believe, the last piece, in my opinion, for a complete application.
So,
Mr. Chairman, it's recommended by the agent that this be tabled again. Is that correct?
My recommendation to table was solely because the deadline, we have a deadline of 2 weeks prior to each meeting for all of the application materials, and they were submitted beyond that deadline.
So you're comfortable with this being accepted as a complete application?
Yes, yes, I'm comfortable with it. The wetland report was the last item that we needed, and we had everything else on file.
Yeah, the bulk of the application was submitted 6 weeks ago.
I'm just reading the recommendations of Kelly, so I wanted to make sure I was correct. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the permit.
Accept it.
Accept. No, not yet.
Accept the permit, John.
We can do that too.
Make a motion to accept it, not approve it.
I'd like to make a motion to
he'll take
accept
that,
it,
but-
yes.
All right, his motion is to accept the permit as complete. Do we have a second?
Sorry.
All right. Madam Secretary, did you get that?
Second, Mr. McCann? Did you second that?
I second.
He's, all right. We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll see you next month.
Thank you very
You're good for
much.
now.
And would you like to have these hard
Yeah,
copies?
I'll take them and I'll get them to everyone for next month.
You can bring them right through there. Whatever.
Boy, John is a guy, he's really this, man. Okay, under new business. 2013-1 M3 permit modification, construction 63,457 square foot industrial warehouse, Stratford Corporate Campus, 975 Lordship Boulevard, Stratford Land Development Company is the applicant or his representative here.
Yes, thank you for entertaining us this evening. My name is James Casey. I live at 1903 Burr Street in Fairfield, Connecticut. I've worked in Stratford since 1987. Now, what we've submitted here is, I don't know what you technically call it. It's a modification request to an existing permit. We've asked to take a 137,000 square foot building that was approved in associated parking and reduce it to substantially just under 64,000 square feet and increase the associated parking. The site's had extensive development already around the perimeter, and the area we're working in is within all the areas of concern. We've updated you all last time we were here with a request to extend the permit, which was due to expire in November. And at that time, we submitted a colored map, which showed a lot of improvements that had been already constructed. So we're down to the final area for building and parking with this modification request. I don't know how much detail you want me to go in. I thought I'd just field any questions or concerns that you have.
Do you have any questions?
I have a question.
You have questions?
So do I.
Can.
I have a question of the wetlands agent. I read your comments that you sent us, and I've read novels that have been less than this.
I'm sorry.
Have very extensive. Have all these questions been answered? Because your final one, if they're not answered, this is not complete.
They have supplied all of their reports that were required. I just have questions on some of their details. So I felt as though they supplied us with the information that we typically request. I just have lots of questions on some of the details.
I found the comment on engineering report, the first line, very interesting.
What?
The first 4 words under engineering report.
Yes, it is. Did you read it?
Yeah, well, yes. It's, overall, this is very confusing.
I sent the commission the same comments that I sent to you, Jim. So we're reading the same things.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, actually.
No, I'm referring to her report.
It's just my comments that, I sent you the same comments as well. Just that there was I had some confusion on some of the documents, but,
Well, it's complicated. It's 42 acres, and it was designed for maximum development, and it's well less than maximum development in reality. So I think getting to the answers to the questions ought to be very constructive. We got comments last Thursday,
Yep.
And we submitted the responses yesterday, but the application was submitted on May 21st.
Yes.
Because we know it's complicated and we know it's cumbersome, no question.
So we're going to look at this and just determine whether it's a complete application and vote on its acceptance next month?
Well, we can vote on that tonight if you'd like.
All right.
I mean, the documents that we request like wetland report, engineering reports, site plans, those were all submitted in a timely manner. These are just my questions.
No, I understand
Further
that,
beyond
but I'm just, in
Yeah.
terms of the protocol of what we're supposed to do. We can approve this evening?
If the commission feels that the application is substantially complete, then we can.
Well, you're telling us it is.
What's that?
Are you saying it is complete?
Isn't.
It is in the fact that they have submitted all the documents that we have asked for. I just have questions and ask
Okay.
for some clarification on some of the items discussed in those documents.
Are those in addition to the ones that you gave us last Thursday?
No, these are the same ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm just curious, did you have a chance to see our responses?
No, we didn't have enough time to get them out to the commission because I have to mail them.
We haven't seen your response.
No.
I understand. I understand. And this is a modification request, not a new permit.
We understand it, yeah, but, we haven't seen it yet. So, and you wouldn't do that, would you, Jim?
Pardon?
Would you approve something if you haven't read it?
No, I certainly wouldn't, but that's why we took
Yeah,
them
no,
hot off
I
the
understand.
press.
I'm just joking. I've known you long enough to be able to do that.
And I had a question last month that, as a request for modification to reduce the area of development below what's already been approved, my question would be, is there any reason why this couldn't be acted on this evening because it's not a new application, it's a modification request? We've done this once before with you all.
Well, I think we should get the questions answered first. I mean, because I know I have a couple.
I'd feel more comfortable if we had a chance to look at his answers.
Before accepting it, the permit.
Correct.
Before
Yeah.
extending it, yeah.
Right.
So, I'd feel more comfortable if we had an opportunity to read and digest your answers to Kelly's questions before we acted on this. That's my own opinion.
I agree.
I just would feel more comfortable having that. And again, in terms of being very defensible, if somebody says, "Hey, why did you do that?" He doesn't want to go to court for an appeal.
So,
Last time I was asked why this parcel isn't developed yet. We're doing everything we can. And I apologize that we didn't respond sooner, but we only got the questions Thursday.
Understood.
So we have to wait a month for it to be accepted and then come back a month later for it to be acted on.
If that would be the protocol.
no, that's not
Okay?
true.
I don't appreciate that, but I'll obviously work with whatever I have to work with.
I don't think so. For a modification?
They're discussing it.
Well, the last one was an extension, right?
The last one was an extension and we accepted that.
We did. And this is modifying the one that we extended. It's the same permit.
This is the third modification, yes.
Well, I mean, it's not fair to ask us to act on something that we haven't had a chance to look at. So, what's your pleasure?
So we'll see you next month.
Are you comfortable?
I'd like to hear from the other
I'm fine accepting.
commissioners.
I don't think that we should vote on it.
Oh, no. mean, I don't want to, I don't like to string them out month after month after month, because it's not fair. I don't know if he's got a buyer or a tenant.
Do we have any comments from the other commissioners?
Have you had a chance to look at the responses?
I have not,
Okay.
but I do have them. They're in my office.
So what, if we extend him the courtesy, and it's extension of, it's a courtesy of accepting this, they're gonna have to, agree to answer your questions in a timely fashion, or we'll just table it next month.
No, they've already, we have the answers.
Yeah.
They're in my office.
Have you had a chance to
I
look at
haven't
them?
had a chance to look at them.
So you don't know if they're satisfactory or not?
But there's a lot of information there, so.
Well,
That's why you're getting the big bucks.
I couldn't hear you, Bill.
That's why you're getting the big bucks, because you're the chairman.
Yeah, right.
Mr. Chairman, if you need to delay it, that's fine. I'm just trying to expedite a sale
No,
and
I
a development.
understand.
So I get it. You know, you guys need to see answers. We did our best, but our best obviously wasn't good enough.
I mean, I think we should table it. I think we should table it. But that's up to you guys. I just leaned the band here. You guys. So we need a motion to do something.
And you know, Mr. McKinney, we've had 3 public hearings on this specific 42-acre site. We're not new to this process.
One of the problems is it's illegal for us to give conditional permits. A modification legally is another permit. It's a new contract, because you're modifying the old contract. It's contract law, you know contract. If we're modifying the original agreement, it's a new agreement. So, this is a difficult one. I mean,
Does it make any sense to review the 9 questions here this evening, or is that not appropriate?
I don't know. How's that for,
Thank you for your clarity.
how's that for a clear, definitive answer? I don't know. I don't know, what,
Well,
I think you can accept it now and then vote on it the next meeting.
That's what I say.
I'll tell you what,
Mr. Chairman,
if,
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and approve these modifications and let this.
we're not approving anything. We're accepting.
We're accepting the application.
Don't talk to him like
Yeah, yeah.
that. Doesn't look good.
We're gonna have to kick you off.
Then there's that.
We have a motion
I'd like to make a motion to, yes,
to accept this.
to accept.
Do we have a second? We have a second. Is there any discussion?
No.
I have one comment, that Kelly will have an opportunity to look at your answers.
Sure.
If she has questions, she needs timely responses, or else.
Clear as a whistle.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much. See you next month.
Staff reports?
All right, so we can start with the comments on the bylaws.
Got 'em?
Have you all had a chance to review the bylaws? Are we all comfortable? Yeah, you were, yeah, most of you were involved in writing them, actually. I don't know if a motion needs to be made to accept them, to forward them to filing. If you want to accept them? No, we
No.
we tabled it
We tabled it for review,
because all the mailers went out kind of late last, I don't know why they took a while to get to you folks.
I'll make a motion to accept the budget.
We have a motion to accept, second?
Second the motion?
I'm gonna let Dennis second this one, John, you got too much action tonight. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that takes care of that.
All right. Still working on these 6 performance bonds. One has been non-responsive, and I just did receive plans for 4 of the others. And there's a 5th. I'm working on finalizing the request to release the remainder of the performance bond for 335 Ferry Boulevard.
Well, talk to me about that before you do anything. He still owes me money.
All right. And then as far as permits, enforcement actions, I've done 3 permits. One for 380 Harvest Ridge Road for an in-ground pool, patio, and fence. One for 290 Pumpkin Ground Road for an above-ground pool. And one for 240 Rosebrook Drive for another pool and deck. Lots of pools going up this summer again. Yes.
We used to make them show us that they had dry wells or something for back flushing and draining down the pools. Is that still a condition for a pool permit?
That is not something I'm aware of. I have not seen it. Is that something the health department, do you think, requires, or that's out of our office?
Back in the day, when I remember who the conservation administrator was, had to sign all the building permits. And a pool installation required from the building department permit.
Yes.
And one of the things that we asked the applicant was, what are you going to do for back flushing, whatever? They cannot send it to the sanitary. The big deal was not sending it to the sanitary
Mhm.
because they did not want any more work at the sewage treatment plant. The second thing was not to send it onto neighbors' properties. And the third one was not to send it into a regulated area. So there were a number of options that they had. The major option was that most people put in, particularly in above-ground pools, they put in a perimeter of crushed stone for not only the water going off and not making mud, but it was also can be used for back flushing. And I was just curious, are we still doing that? Are we still asking them where they're putting the excess water?
I am not. I haven't seen that in my files to do that, but that's something that I'll look into.
Yeah, we're only concerned if, at this agency of number 3, going into a regulated area.
Precisely.
Chlorine going, well, as you know what chlorine does,
Mm-hmm.
amphibians. So, could you look into that one?
I will do that. I was unaware of that requirement. I don't know if that's something that maybe it's being done, but by another department on the building permit. It's all online now, but I'll look into that.
Who's the building official now? Is it?
Brian Donovan?
Okay. He remembers. Talk to him.
Okay. Did he,
Just don't mention my name.
was he a contemporary of you? All right, I'll look into that though.
All right. No, the specifications were that it would to take the volume of water that they use. Oh, no. If they're draining down the pool, that's a whole different story. We're talking about, back flushing the filters and all the rest of that. You're usually less than 100 gallons for most of them, so it's, you're talking about a 55-gallon drum size.
I'm not sure I would have to be able to receive that capacity.
Yeah,
Got to be a minimum or a maximum size.
It would depend on the pool size.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Ask Brian, see what he says.
I will. And that was all I had.
Okay. Commissioners Forum?
That's John.
Adjournment?
Second the motion?
Okay. I guess I made it. All in favor? Thank you.